I ask you, so what do you do for a living? Oh yeah, I do credit repair. I also got a trucking company and a clothing line, by the way. Yeah, so and they're gonna like, oh, that's what's up, and then that's gonna be the end of the
I'm not gonna buy nothing from you. I'm not even working with you for business.
They don't even know how you can help them.
Facts.
But if I say, what do you do for a living? Well, I rent cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. You do what? Oh, I rent cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. I have a rental company that rents cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers, and that's it. So now you become the authority in whatever you decide to run with the public. Now, truth be told, I have a podcast. I have a clothing line, right?
Yep.
But you're going to find it out by going through the main thing that I do.
That's huge,
That's not
man.
what I'm publicizing.
That's not what I'm publicizing, though.
Right.
But when you tap into me and you learn me and grow with me, now you say, oh, so he got the rental car company. Wait, you got a clothing line, a podcast? Because it's in my world.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in my world.
You're listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Kamunya here. We are back with the Money Monopolizers podcast, and I am here with my co-host, Marlon Walls. Marlon, how you doing today, bro?
Man, you know I'm already doing good. I told you already once. We did last week. We talked about how we came out here to Atlanta. Still out here. We still about to be rocking out with a whole bunch of different podcast guests. We got lots of people in the pipe for y'all. So I'm just super excited just to continue on pushing forward with the podcast and everything. So.
I feel like it's like we got like a whole lineup of guests coming through. It's like a concert.
It's really surreal though, man, because the leverage that you get with a podcast and being able to reach out to people, like one thing that I always hear is that if you go to reach out to like a celebrity, for instance, or you meet a celebrity in person, what's the first thing you want to do with them, or like how you going to approach them in conversation? Hey, can you want to take a picture with me? Or something like that. That's probably what you're going to say. But now you can have a way to add value to somebody.
Right.
Like they get to talk about their experiences, get in front of an audience, potentially gain followers or even customers from that audience. And that's like a mutual value exchange now. And so now that's a good way for people to like approach somebody. Like you can have a mutual exchange rather than just take a picture. Now you can actually get them in your network.
Right. And
now you can build from there. So I love it, man.
Yeah, man. Having a podcast, we always say, is a cheat code to networking. Literally, you get to network with some of the, people that are in positions you want to be in, or whatever the case may be. Because like you said, you offer them something of value. I'm giving you an opportunity to come to our platform and talk, promote your products, whatever the case may be. Most people, because I think podcasts are still relatively new, so most people they want to be on podcasts. People want to be on podcasts. So it's not something that's like, if you have a podcast, you should definitely, be leveraging that to get as many high profile guests. Obviously, you got to put in the time to get like the top of the top. But
keep in mind the work to go in the background for sure.
Yeah. But eventually, you'll be able to get some. I saw EYL. They was with shout out EYL. They was with Steve Harvey.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah. And I was just like, man. But they be with everybody now.
They be. That's the higher. No, the longer you go, the more high profile people you get, the easier it is to get the next high profile person. Right. That's what we talk about with exponential.
Yeah, and trust the process. We will be at that point at some point.
That's a fact.
Don't know when, but trust the process.
That's it.
But yeah, what we want to do real quick before we get into our episode today with our fantastic guest that we got scheduled, we want to get into our business updates briefly so that we keep y'all posted on what's been going on since we last spoke.
It's time. I guess I got my swagger back. Keep them posted.
So Marlon, now we're obviously, I guess, in the end of February when this releases.
Right.
If not March, then
that's a fact.
How have things been for you over the last couple of weeks as far as your business goes?
Everything's been really good. I think things are really starting to ramp up a lot. So for anybody who's just new to the podcast, I'm in a rental car space where me and my dad went into business back in 2020 where we built up our fleet to 10 cars in 2021. And now we're looking to continue to expand our fleet through joint ventures. I mentioned before, we got a couple new cars within our fleet just through joint ventures. I think we have a total of 3 now. We're also looking to build up beyond that just by partnerships. But one good thing I liked about recently is that things are starting to really pick up now. Like I'm just talking about, we can get a car back at like 8 a.m. Somebody's requesting at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, bro, hold on a second. So one thing we talked about with our our HR manager is that we're looking to like build out our whole team now. Like we started off with one person before that we were trying to get, but now we told her we need 6 people.
Right.
So we're like really about to start building up the system and structure within the business. And so really by the time this airs, we'll probably have it built out, to be honest. But
So you think you'll have your first employee
facts
by March?
Yeah, no doubt. That was my goal for February, is to have our first employee
By March.
Yes, but before February ended. So
Contractor or employee?
it'll be employee is the wrong term, but yeah, it would be a contractor initially.
Well, outsourced labor. That's all
Outsourced labor. That's fine. Call it that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we're definitely about to start expanding in that direction though. So I'm excited because it's coming at the right time as we start to gain in more cars and gain more traffic to our cars. So I'm excited for all that.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then how about you?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. So for like Marlon said as well, for those that are new to the podcast, new to the show, I'm in the cleaning business. Been in there since August of 2020, and first year, last year did $400,000 in revenue, and now in 2020 we're looking to do $1 million in revenue this year as the ultimate goal. So, February was another good month. We're definitely pushing towards that ultimate goal that I do have set. But really the business has become super passive for me in the sense of like, because I've now have staff and people handling customer service, and I literally don't have to deal with a lot of that stuff. So what I really want to focus on now is the expansion and growth and getting into new things. So that's obviously now why I got into the commercial cleaning. So hopefully by the time this airs, I'll have closed my second commercial contract on that side, and we could definitely get things picking up there, because commercial is just a lot more. It's a lot less transactional than the residential side, just because residential is like people just one and done, move in, move out cleans, deep cleanings, those kinds of things. But the commercial is always 3, 4, 5 times a week. And those are some pretty big contracts depending on the size. So I just did a walkthrough last week of a place. It was like probably, I don't know, it was over 30,000 square feet, but it was a school, and that was probably like a $10,000 a month contract. So we'll see if we can close any of these. But I mean, I expect to close a good amount of the ones that we're getting set this year. So. But yeah, that's kind of where the business is at. It's more so now just focusing on the growth, and now that I'm out of really the day-to-day, which it should ultimately, like we always say, the goal for every business owner should be to get out of the day-to-day. You don't.
That's a fact, man.
We don't start these businesses to buy ourselves another job. So we start the businesses for financial freedom. So if you don't ever outsource, then I don't know what you're doing. So now that I'm kind of at that place, I'm always in the mindset of, okay, what's the next thing? So this is kind of the next thing for that business specifically. And from there, we can kind of keep growing. So,
yes, sir.
That's kind of how things have been, man. So, what we want to do now is really get into our episode. So, like I said, we are out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, a.k.a. Wakanda. There's a lot of, people out here that are killing it in their respective industries. And first, I do want to say shout out to the Legacy Center. That's where we at right now.
Yes, sir.
Recording. That's Jay Morrison's spot, and his wife Ernestine. We're actually gonna have her on the show soon.
Check us out soon for that too.
Yeah. So, shout out to them. But Atlanta has a lot of heavy hitters, and again, we got another one on the show today. Mr. Jeff, how you doing today, bro?
I'm phenomenal, man. How you doing, boss?
Doing well. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate that. Got the call.
Yeah.
The bat phone. I said, let's do it.
The bat phone.
The bat phone text, like, yo, we need you on the podcast.
Yes.
Said, let's do it.
That's it, man.
Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, for sure. So Marlon, can you kind of like, get us started as far as like, well, actually, I'll just ask you straight up before we kind of get into like the meat and potatoes. Usually how we start the show, we really want to get into our background guests, or our guest background, and really just we want to understand like your upbringing with money growing up, and kind of like how that shaped where you are now, and also what you're doing now. So if you can kind of use 5 minutes to get into that, then
yeah, for sure, man. So what's up, guys? My name is Jeff Trills. I'm from the Bronx, New York, the real Wakanda, because we throw the pictures up. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, Trills is your last name?
Trills is Jeff Trills is my name, and then Jantua is my last name.
Oh,
I'm African from Ghana.
Oh, you from Ghana?
Yeah, I'm Ashanti.
Oh, okay. Shout out West Africa.
Yeah, West Africa in the building, baby. All my Ashantis at this end.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So, grew up in the Bronx. I wasn't in a poor family at all. You know, we was a working class family. My father worked at the hospital at NYU. My mother worked for Bronx, Lebanon as administrative. You know, she was basically a woman in administrating, and we had a pretty, really good life, right? My father would have, he would give us allowance, so he cooked the food, good African food, and then if we did something good, we'd get allowance on the TV. So we learned about, if you did something good, you get 50 cents on your side of the TV. If you did something bad, you won't get no money in the morning, right? And so growing up, I was like, okay. When I was 10 years old, I started my little entrepreneurship. My mom had food stamps, and I kind of took her food stamps and went to go bought candy and sold it at school. Then it went from food, and of course my brother snitched on me, so I got caught. I had a whole stack of food stamps underneath the mattress. Man, he told, man, I was like, dang. So I called my mom.
He was hating on you.
Oh, he was like, where you got all this money at, man?
He a younger brother?
My older brother.
Oh, he really
super
hater.
Super snitch, right?
Super hater.
Yeah, he's super snitch. He's like, Mom, it's under the mattress. Like, oh, come on, bro. Right?
Hating on the hustle, bro.
Yeah, so from that point on, I went ahead and I started, I got put on to do the paper route. So I would go, before school, I would jump in the morning and deliver papers in the building. And that was cool. And then at Christmas time, when my birthday came, because, my brother's birthday was earlier than mine, so it was the Game Boy. I'm kind of dating myself. But it was the Game Boy.
I love that Game Boy.
Game Boy,
that
right?
was my game.
My brother's his birthday is in April, mine's in June. So he always get his gifts first. So he got the Game Boy playing for like 2 months, and he just getting spicy with it. And then I got mine. And so I was like, well, I can play the Game Boy, but I had a person at school that wanted my Game Boy. He wanted to rent it. So his name was Claudel. He said, I'll pay you to use your Game Boy account. So I guess he was bad, but his family had money. But
Did he know that was the concept of renting? Or he's
I don't think he knew.
Just pay you. How old was he?
I was 10.
Oh, he ain't know.
Bro,
fifth
graders, man.
Fifth graders.
Can I rent your Game Boy?
Right. So
triple net
he
lease.
didn't say rent. He didn't say rent, but I said, well, if you pay me $5 a day, I'll let you use my Game Boy.
Right.
So he'll pay me $5 a day. I thought I was rich. All right?
That's a fact.
And my mother was like, boy. So my brother snitched again. He said, boy, he's snitch master.
He snitched again.
Snitch master.
Bro, he a hater.
Bro, he's like, Mom, Jeffrey got the game, and he rented out to some dude. He said, if you don't get that Game Boy in his house by a certain time, it's going to be your butt, right? So I said, I went to Claudel, like, Claudel, I need a Game Boy back. He's like, oh, no, I was paying for it. I said, no, you wasn't. You was renting that thing for me. And so,
So he thought he bought it off you.
He thought he was
Oh,
buying.
boy, chill with that.
That boy had a down payment.
Right. He started making down payments on the joint. Like,
Seller finance.
That word. Like, hold on. So, long story short, my fear of getting whipped, and I kind of threatened him a little bit. And anyway, got the Game Boy back before I got my butt whipped. And so that was that. So I was an entrepreneur without knowing I was an entrepreneur.
Facts.
I just liked the fact that taking my mom's food stamps, buying candy, and then I started giving away. And people were like, "Well, I'll give you 2 pennies for it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then 5 cents and then 10 cents. You know what I'm saying? Because they had this penny gum. Back in the day, it was a penny gum. This gum was a penny.
Yeah.
So they'll give me 2 cents for the penny gum.
Yeah.
Per penny. And then we went to 5 cent gum. So I was like, okay, I can sell this stuff because it was free money for me. Right?
Penny gum.
Yeah.
What is that?
It was gum that was worth a penny.
Right.
So you could pay a penny and get this gum.
Got you. Okay.
Right.
So it's like the double bubble, the hubble
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah. It was like a gum. It was like, I don't know if it was Chinese made or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was a penny.
And then you flip it and sell it for 2 cents.
2 cents. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, penny gum. And then so what happened was, like I said, that was my first time in entrepreneurship. Starting with the food stamps, and then from there going up to be the paper boy, and then of course got in the Game Boy and said, well, if you want to rent it, I'm gonna go ahead and make this money, right? And so that was my upbringing. And when we got so funny when I started, because when I turned 16, we got our summer youth jobs, right? So summer youth, you know what summer youth is?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go to summer youth and you make your little money, right, over the summer. And so, shout out to my mom because she taught me some real good lessons, right? So every time we would get our checks, I would go home and she would take all our checks, and she said, "Now you paying rent." I'm like, rent? Hold on, player. Right? So you're contributing to the household. I'm like, the whole check, ma? Right? So what happened was, I got hip to the game. So when I get my check, before I get home, I spend all the money. right?
So that she couldn't take it.
So that she couldn't take it, right? So, but what's crazy about it, that habit that I created bled into my adulthood.
So now you start spending money as soon as you get it.
Right.
Wow.
Right? And so it's like, dang, I was like, where did that come from? Wow. Right? It was the fear of giving it away, so I would spend it so I know it can't be taken from me.
So you get to benefit from it before someone else.
Right. So the concept of saving wasn't something that I was prone to. Like, I didn't want to save. I was like, yo, I'm gonna save it so the bank can take my money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
No, because you know, so it was like, let me go and buy what I want to buy. At least I got what I wanted.
Man, that's your mom should have said, "Yo, you still got this. Just do next month still."
Right.
So now you got double to do next.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so cold because she got her shit. When I said, Mom, I don't got it. What you mean you don't got it? You just got shit. Yeah, it's gone. Right. So she was like, okay, it's gone, huh? Okay. Next time it's gone, you're gonna be out of this house, right?
Facts.
Right. So we're gonna play the gone game for so long.
Right.
Right. And so, long story short, from that point on, I started to get into modeling. Then I had this dude that was trying to do model. Well, he wasn't trying to do modeling. People were like, "Yo, he should do modeling." So I took him to my model coach, and I was like, "Hey, Nina, this dude," and she fell in love with him. And I was trying to work a deal out with them, right? And she's like, "Well," she told him, if I come back there with him, she's not working with him. So meaning she's cutting me out the deal, right? And so, long story short, it was crazy because I took him into my house, and my mom's kicked me and him out. Right. One day, my mom's a locksmith, so she knows like change the doors when you go. Right. So I come home, put the key in, the key don't work.
Ain't work.
She's like, "Where's the rent?"
Exactly.
I said, "Rent." He said, "You want your stuff? You gotta pay me rent." Right. So long story short, that's where the homeless started coming from. Right. I was homeless the first time. Mom kicked me out. I went to my dad's house. I was like 16, going like 16, 17. I came back, then I got kicked out with the Frenchie. I was about 18, 19, you know what I'm saying? So we went from there to the Armory. And then I realized that, when you're homeless, people don't really welcome. They put you in their house for a short term, and then you overstay your welcome.
Right.
So then you got to go.
Right.
So that all happened with, like I said, the money that I would get, I would just spend it. So that was my money habits at a younger age growing up.
Wow.
To answer your question.
Yeah. So then how did that, because I really want to get into kind of how you transition from there. How did that kind of lead you into where you kind of got into now? Because I think that's a lot of people that we've met, and it's funny, even the last person we had, or one of the last guests, Matty J, he said he had a similar upbringing with like selling candy.
Right.
Very entrepreneur as a school. And then, he kind of also obviously ended up in the rental car game. How did that transition from, that? Like, did you end up going to college, or like what was the thing that kind of transitioned you into entrepreneurship?
It's so cool. I used to love school, right? I would go to school on half days, right? My mom like, stay home with a half day. Like, nah, I want to go to school. Right? I like the kids, I like to hang out, and I like the atmosphere, the socializing of it. But I realized a long time ago, I would always ask a question like, yo, why when people get to 11th grade, they drop out, they don't graduate, right? And then I got to 11th grade, right? And when I got to 11th grade, and I spoke to my history teacher, and I would ask her, I said, I forgot her name, but I said, hey, Tish, do you remember what you learned? Do you remember what you learned after you teach it? And the answer she gave me shifted my whole paradigm. He said, learn what I teach y'all. Shoot. No, I'm sorry. I said, do you remember what you learned when you was in high school?
Right.
And she was like, I don't remember what I learned. I don't remember what I teach you guys after I teach it.
Oh, really? That's how she answered it.
She said, high school? I don't even remember what I teach you guys after I teach it. And when she said that, I said, thank you. And I discontinued from the knowledge that school chose to teach me.
Wow.
That's when I started to seek knowledge from people who actually do it.
That is a revolutionary statement right there. That is crazy.
It changed my life.
I love that concept. Real teachers versus fake teachers.
People that actually the do it first teachers, right?
Yeah.
I started to want to go speak to people that had a do it first attitude and actually did the work. That's what get me into mentorship and why I'm how I got to where I'm getting to, right?
So wait, what was that it? Because you said do the work or like do it or like do the work. What was the work that you were talking about?
So for instance, like when I discontinued from high school, I started to seek out people who actually did what it is that I wanted to do.
Okay.
Right? So if I wanted to get into the music industry, I would seek wise counsel people actually in the music industry
Right.
that's doing the work in the music industry. Right. So I went from school, then I got to network marketing, right? I'm learning people that actually making money in network marketing, right? That was my claim to so-called fame. And then also in the music industry, I would start out at a street teamer. And there's a guy named General, shout out to General, he was the biggest street team. People record label would pay him to go and market their artists. And I learned a lot from him.
Right.
Pull tabs, yard signs, all that stuff that I'm using now in my business, I learned long time ago, right? And so what happened was going through network marketing, learning from people who actually do what they teach, right? In the music industry, learning from people that actually do what they teach, because I'm doing the work, I'm learning it, building that skill set. I was starting to become successful. I mean, after a while with the network marketing, you learn, and then you start to have a little money here, a little money there. But then I got to my final company, and I made a lot of money. The issue was, shout out to the network marketing industry, but in my particular situation, the owner of that company was, I was real close with the leadership, and I was part of the leadership and all that stuff. And the owner comes and say, they had to say, this is your company, right? It's like, this is your company that we're working with, that you're building a legacy that you can leave for your family.
Yeah.
Well, I had a situation with one of my top people. They actually they were doing another situation that had nothing to do with network marketing, but somebody hated on us, and they told that that person was doing another deal, right? But it was not network marketing. So they're like, well, we had to terminate her. So they terminated her
Because she was doing something else independently.
Independently, right? And I'm like, well,
It's
what
like
happened?
a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's like, what happened to this is your company and this is my company? Then
I make the rules.
I make the rules. I have a say. I had the final say of you guys terminating her or not.
Right.
Well, when they did that, it took a big bite into my income. Right?
Oh, her.
Yeah,
Because-
because she was one of my power legs. Right? If
Wow.
people that know network marketing, it's power legs. There was 3 power legs. She was one of my power legs, and the person that she was she was teaching my other power legs. So I had leaders that would teach other people in my lineage to do certain things.
Right.
And so when she left, people kind of left with her.
Man. Oh, see.
Yeah. Right? Or when she got terminated, rather.
Right.
The news spread like, oh, they terminated you? Oh, no, we got
Everybody fair game. She got terminated.
We can't be around this. Right? So I made the money, but I knew it was about to come to an end unless I do something dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I said, let me tap into this credit game, because we offer credit. And that's when I was introduced to Him 500.
Okay.
This would start the whole networking that we're in now. Right? Him 500 teaching me the credit game, but on a different level. But it wasn't even the fact about the credit. It was about the network that you would get into once you get into that mentorship. Right? That network opened me up to everything I'm doing right now, how I came to be.
And then so I see the value in all that. So first off, I know that you hate the aspect of somebody else like being in control over how you make your income.
Yeah.
Just based on me knowing you, but I know you've been in like Matty J's community. I can tell. Like one thing you always talk about, I'm never on Turo.
No.
Just like going into the rental car space, you never been on Turo in your lifetime because of the fact that you don't like nobody else controlling. I can see that being like one of the root causes for that is like when somebody else controls my income, they have all say on do you eat today or do you not, based on just that alone. So
it's so funny you say that, because I was in the music industry and I managed producers, right?
Yeah.
For a minute, I went from street team to executive district, to executive assistant director to A&R department, and then I started my own management company, right? Issue with that was my income was directly tied to the producer producing production,
Right.
beats, right? And if they get in their feelings, because they become artists too, and they're like, nah, this beat's for Drake and this beat for this, I'm like, yo, your beat's a dollar menu. Okay, we need to produce them bad with dollar menus, and then when we get somebody to place it, it'll come a Big Mac. Okay, but right now it's big dollar menus because no one's biting you. They haven't heard the music yet. You saving dollar menu meals from somebody who needs to eat those, right?
Right.
So, but I didn't like the fact that my income was directly tied to if this producer is going to produce or not.
Facts.
Right.
Yep.
And I said, nah, I can't do this model. So that's where it stems from, where I am the platform. I'm not relying on any other platform to feed me.
And I I wanted to get into that too. So like, you talked about like everything that you were going through led you to what you're doing today. So you can kind of explain what that is, like so we can start getting into it.
Yeah. So like I said, network marketing was strong in my life. I learned the skill sets of how to teamwork, team building, understanding how to leverage other people and delegate things. Right. Delegation rules my nation. Right. So when you understand there's people that do things better than you, and you can get with them and show them how that it could be beneficial for all of us, then that machine gets well oiled and everything starts working together for its good. So long story short, that skill set along with the ability of, once again, controlling your own destiny, controlling your own paycheck, is what got me into the mentorship. So I got into Him 400 mentorship, and I understood the power of paying to pay to be in the room.
Just facts.
Right? It pays to pay to be in the right rooms. That's my motto. That's what I say. Right? Because if I didn't pay to be in the Hit 500 room, I would never tap into the network, which got me connected with Pushman Mitch. That's what I got connected with first. Pushman Mitch on the car game.
Yes, sir.
And then after I was diving into the car game with Push, I also met Matty J as well at the Hit 500. So I said, I invested in Pushman Mitch course. Then I also invested in Matty J's course because I said, if I'm going to do this,
go educate yourself.
I want to know on all aspects how this game really works.
Facts.
Right? And as I did that, I found my niche within that niche. Right? So what I do is I rent cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. I am the platform. I am the enterprise. So they rent from me and they pay me weekly. But I never would have found that out if I never invested in the mentorship to understand what it takes to have a successful Turo business and realize that that's not something I want to do. In my opinion, I said I've been driving Uber for 8 years. I've been an Uber driver as well. I've been doing that for 8 years, so I knew the whole game plan of the drivers, the mindset of the drivers, what they like, what they don't like, why they would rent cars versus why they wouldn't rent cars. And I said, I've been an Uber driver for 8 years, 7 years at the time I started the process. And I know exactly what kind of car they would rent out, why they would rent it out. So I would take the same model, but instead of putting it on Turo and renting people who want my cars, I'm gonna give it to people or rent it to people who need my cars.
Facts.
Right? And that's basically why I said, okay, because Uber and Lyft drivers need the car. They don't just want the car.
Right. That's their income source.
That's their livelihood.
Yeah.
So if I can impact their life by providing a tool that's gonna help them get to the bag, it's a win-win.
Nah, see, I love this concept because essentially you remove the middleman in this situation. Because for a lot of people, they see the code word Turo and like, okay, that's almost like this is the person that's going to take care of all the marketing. This person takes care of all the insurance, takes care of everything, and all I do is list my car. Somebody magically rents it out, and I make money. In your situation, you actually knew your audience because you were the audience at one point. Mm-hmm. So you know how to target that particular type of person. You know what their pain points are, and so now you know what they're looking for. Right. And so I think that's very important though, because is an Uber driver necessarily looking for like a Maserati? Because we talked to Matty J. He talked about how his cars he got were Teslas, Maseratis, and I forgot what other cars he had, but he was going after this.
Mercedes.
Mercedes. That's right. It's Mercedes. Those are his first three. Yeah. So. What kind of cars are you looking for now? Because like Uber driver, I'm assuming you said they need this. I'm assuming they ain't got the money to pay for that. So like, how is that changing? First of all, the cars you go after, and two, like how you are marketing to them too.
Oh yes, that's a great question. So one thing I know about Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, we like to drive good cars and quality cars too. Why? Because we spend 12 hours in the car.
That's a good point.
So if I spend 12 hours in the car, I want to drive something that I feel good to drive.
Right.
Right. But here's the issue: because these rental companies that rent to Uber and Lyft drivers don't understand that. They rent the Uber and Lyft drivers the basic model cars with cloth seats. You see, for an Uber and Lyft driver, cloth seats are the worst seats to have when driving people around. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gotten an Uber and the cloth seats, you see stains in the cloth seats?
Yep. Facts.
How do you feel as a customer sitting in that seat? Look, you got a plastic bag you can put on the seat plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this thing a little dingy.
Yeah.
Right? One, we pick up people all over the globe that comes in our cars when they're in that city, right? The worst people we pick up, shout out to all the fast food workers, but y'all know, right? They have this fast food restaurant scent on them, and it sticks in the car.
Yeah.
So it's not a pleasant scent.
Right.
Right. But if you're fast food workers, you understand that you got the kitchen on you, you got all the fries and all stuff on you, and you're getting the car right from work. And that sits in the seats.
Right.
So now our next passengers are like, whoa.
Facts, man.
Right.
Chicken in here.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it? You got Popeyes player? No, I had a Popeyes worker. You know what I mean? But so knowing that, I understood. Okay, I'm not going to give my Uber Lyft drivers basic cars. I'm going to give them the next tier up. Right. Leather seats.
That's good, man.
Got the wheel package is something that's like wow, the latest model car of that particular brand. And so the cars I have are the cars that the big boys have. Right? I also don't reinvent the wheel. If the big boys has Toyota Camrys, Ford Fusions, Dodge Grand Caravans, Chrysler 300s, why would I not do what the big boys are doing? Because they did all the marketing and market share and understand which cars are the most effective car.
Facts.
That can run the test of time without having to worry about the most repair issues.
Right.
That is huge right there.
research.
Especially
They did the research.
you got somebody that's going to be renting out the car long term. They looking for something that's reliable, something that's long lasting, where they can run their business without having to worry about the headache of the car being in the shop.
Bingo. So, and then it's easy for me to compare the price of these big companies and say, well, this is how much they charging you, and this is how much I'm charging you.
Right.
And they're not able to put this car on the Uber Lyft platform so you can drive it. But my car, you can, right? So I'm able to do the pros and cons of these cars, right? 1, 2, I'm able to give them the next tier up to where they feel great driving the car, but they don't want to give the cars back. The key thing is I don't want my cars coming back.
That's a fact.
I need long-term rentals, right? So what makes somebody a long-term renter? They're like, oh my God, they get in the car, they feel amazing in the car because people thinking that these economy cars are not luxury. Well, we got luxury cars for economies, and the cool thing about it, people that at that level, that's luxury for them.
That is.
Because their credit's not bad. Their credit's horrible. So if they try to get that same car, they don't qualify for that same car, right? They qualify for a lower level car,
Yeah.
right? Ask me how I know, right? Me being an Uber driver, and
Yes.
I have horrible credit, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
most of us are hustlers that's not responsible.
Right.
Right, just being honest, right? Because everybody can't drive Uber. It takes a certain type of entrepreneur to drive Uber. That's 1. 2. Second of all, I have my van. I have got me a Big Bertha, right?
Big Bertha.
Oh yeah, you need more on our cars, The Big Bertha, she 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan with 105,000 miles on it when I bought it. I had to take her because the car I really wanted, I didn't qualify for that car. My credit didn't get me in the level to get that car. I'm like, dang. I can't get that one, no, but get this one, build your credit up, and then come see us again. That's what they told me to give me the car. I put $1,700 down on that car, and I had a high interest rate. I think 21%.
Sheesh.
Wow.
That's what bad credit gets you.
God dang.
Right? 21%, $1,700 down just to give me that car, because every car I went to try to get to denied me. That was my last choice. So think about it. People are like, I ain't got a down payment right now of $1,000, and sometimes the down payment be way more than $1,700. Now it's like $4,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get into a car, and then you got to prove your income. Well, their income is Uber and Lyft. Try to tell somebody that you buying a car from that you work for Uber and Lyft. They are not going to sell the car to you.
Yeah.
Or if they sell the car to you, it's going to be a hefty down payment because your income is Uber and Lyft. So they know you're going to run miles on it, and until you pay that car off, it's their car. So
That's a fact.
You understand?
Yeah.
So why would they give you their car knowing that you're going to run the miles up and they might not get all their money out?
Right.
So that's why they come to me to rent. Does that make sense?
Man, it makes perfect
The
sense.
down payment is nowhere near the down payment to buy a car,
Right.
but the
Man.
weeklies are higher than the monthlies.
Sheesh.
You understand?
That's crazy. I love what you're saying because this like you're solving a specific problem for a specific individual.
That's it.
You're not trying to solve a whole bunch of people's problems. Because I know one thing I know is like, the person that can niche down the most is usually that person that can make a lot of money. Because you're solving a problem that probably hasn't been solved, or if someone has tried to solve it, they didn't solve it well enough for it to become like mainstream. Right? So it's like obviously Uber and Lyft, the company themselves, they started solving a problem. They became a problem that hadn't quite yet been totally solved. I mean, we had taxis and stuff, but it wasn't completely solved. But once they solved that issue, they became mainstream. So it's like essentially what you're doing is because especially you're doing it offline, you are becoming that platform, like you said.
Yeah.
So now you have the possibility of becoming, not that it is your goal or anything, but that possibility is there for you to become mainstream, to go, to become that go-to person for Uber and Lyft drivers that want quality cars. Not just Uber and Lyft drivers that want cars. Uber and Lyft drivers that want quality cars. That is a very specific niche, and to become known for that is, I feel like that can take you so far.
And it's so crazy because, who knew that 7 years ago, me driving for Uber would turn into an opportunity for
That's
me to help
huge
Uber
right there,
drivers
man.
build build an income that they can do for time, for over and over again.
Right.
Right. And so it's like, what you said was right. The riches are in the niches.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling people all the time, people say, oh, I need multiple streams of income. Right? It's a misconception.
It's a buzzword now.
Because in this niche, I'm able to create multiple streams of income to go in this one pond and keep this water flowing so that pond turns to a lake, a river, and an ocean.
Facts.
Right? I'm going to add streams in this niche. People want to add streams just to add streams.
Right.
Cool.
So when they say that, so what do you do? Because here's the problem with that the multiple streams in different niches, right? When they ask someone, so what do you do for a living? Oh yeah, I do credit repair. I also got a trucking company and a clothing line, by the way. Yeah, so and they're gonna oh, that's what's up. And then that's gonna be the end of the
I'm not gonna buy nothing from you. I'm not even working with you for business.
They don't even know how you can help them.
Facts.
But if I say, what do you do for a living? Well, I rent cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. You do what? Oh, I rent cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. I have a rental company that rents cars out to Uber and Lyft drivers. And that's it. So now you become the authority in whatever you decide to run with the public. Now, truth be told, I have a podcast. I have a clothing line, right?
Yep.
But you're going to find it out by going through the main thing that I do.
That's huge,
That's not what
man.
I'm publicizing.
That's not what I'm publicizing, though.
Right.
But when you tap into me and you learn me and grow with me, now you say, oh, so he got the rental car company. Wait, you got a clothing line, a podcast? Because it's in my world.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in my world, right? Artists, you know them for being a singer, a rapper, but they also do movies,
Right.
and photo, and
Makeup.
makeup, and, and styling, and restaurants, and all that stuff. But then they want to say, well, what's your name? Oh, I'm Jeff Trills, and I'm a rapper that has restaurants, and I do acting all the time. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They say, oh, I'm a rapper.
Yeah, nah. I mean, we have beat that dead horse on this show because I'm not saying that you can't be multi-talented, but when you want to tell the world what you do, it has to be something specific because they need to know you for that thing. That way, if that thing ever comes up in their life, or if somebody else that they know is having that issue, they know the first person that they're thinking of is you. If you think about Colgate, where else are you going to think about besides toothpaste? Are you going to think about basketball or something? Like, you're not going to think that. They made, the person who made Colgate may have a whole bunch of different things that they were talented in, but when you think about this brand, you are thinking about that one thing that they do. Right. Now, if you get into their world, maybe a whole different story. But focus on that one thing, and that's what can propel, that's what's going to attract the audience to get into your world in the first place.
I tell you, it's like a lighthouse. A lighthouse would be a lighthouse with multiple holes in it. Right? In order for a lighthouse to be a powerful lighthouse that helps people rescue people, it's a tool to help people rescue people lost in the water in the dark. If the lighthouse had one hole pinched and put into the back, it will lose the power of the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Because now it's sharing that light with another hole.
Wow.
Source, yeah.
Right?
That's a good
So if you focused and be great at that, then whatever else you want to do, once you've mastered that, set that on autopilot, like you said with your trucking company, where you have time to delegate time, energy, and money towards something else that's in line in your vision that you want to do, that's the moment you do that. Yeah. If it's not around, because people do it out of fear. Oh, I need to do this because what if it's not around, and what if...
Facts.
FOMO.
But here's the cool thing about it. If it's not around, then you just save yourself time, money, and energy. Because it's going to be around anyway.
Right.
Right?
Facts.
So if it's not going to be around in 3 years, then guess what? You just save yourself a headache and money being lost. Because if it's not going to be around 3 years, it's not going to be around when you started with it either.
Right.
That's a fact, man.
So,
So, now one thing, because I know there's a lot of misconceptions or a lot of potential fears that people have, especially with moving to the offline play. People like to go to Turo or like other platforms because they feel like they're safe. They feel like somebody is at least going to take care of especially like the insurance piece.
Yeah.
So that's one question that a lot of people always have is like, if I'm going offline, what are some of the variables? Like you can even include insurance. Like what things do I need to know what things do I need to do differently than when I'm online, like on a platform like Turo?
Also, real quick, what does your fleet look like today?
So I have 13 cars in my fleet. I have 2 Camrys. 2 Camrys, 2 Ford Fusions, a van, a Tesla, Nissan Maxima, Altima, and Chrysler 300. So yeah, it's a nice little. And 2 K5s.
Nice.
Okay.
2 K5s. So it's 13 people. 13 in my 13 in my fleet. I'm missing 2 more cars, but 13 in my fleet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
No, you good.
And then going a little bit more into the question before.
Yeah. So people thinking that Turo is your savior. And shout out to Turo. Big up because you set the tone, you set the platform, people are able to get on in and make money. No doubt. Shout out to Turo. But here's the thing. People go on Turo because they're thinking that Turo is going to save them in case of an accident. They're going to protect their asset. But that's not what they do. Right? Some accident you get into, Turo may say, hey, see if you can work it out with the person that rent your car.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, sir. That's not what you my partner. I'm giving you 70% of my money. I'm giving you 60% of my money, right? And people don't know that those different levels come with different responsibilities or lack of responsibility on Toro's part. So you giving 30% away or 20% away because you want 80%, and then something happens to your car, and they say, well, shoot, you got to fix that up because you only giving us 20%, right? What you want to do with that 20%? You know what I'm saying, right? So it's like, but you don't know that. If you understood that all Toro is doing, or I'm gonna say all, but what Toro does is what you can do as well, because they're gonna get that money from where? The insurance claim.
Facts.
Right? The insurance claim. If it's something that they feel is that they can insure, they'll pay you up front and get on the back end. They got lawyers that handle that on the back end, so you're like, well, Toro pay me right out. Yeah, because then they already know that the lawyers can get that money back on the back end by going after somebody's insurance.
Very
right?
true.
So it's all about educating yourself or seeking wise counsel by getting into a mentorship that can teach you that game. What I realized, I said, this is my thing. I said, I'm not willing to give nobody 20% of just in case money, right? Because it's really a just in case money.
That's a fact.
Oh, I'm paying you just in case I get into an accident with my fleet. But first of all, I speak like over my fleet. So I say all my cars don't get in accidents, right? I speak like over it. Now people don't believe in that, but believe what you believe. All my cars have not been in accidents.
Wow.
On my fleet. Now I have JV partnerships that
My base fleet don't.
my fleet don't get in accidents. But my JV partners, my joint venture deals, they've all been in an accident, but they've all been my lesson learners.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, now I know what to do with these fleets. And you want to learn it because once you learn it, your fear of giving that power to Toro no longer exists.
I believe that firmly.
No longer exists, right? Because now you know the game, the insurance game. One I went and took an insurance class. So you got to dive into your market, to your industry, and understand your industry. You want to know about your industry. The biggest question people ask, well, I'm going to go find out by going and get my insurance license. So I can really understand it from that end, right? Then I got in contact with assurance adjusters.
Yes, that's good.
And we got a surprise coming on, you know. But insurance adjusters are the ones that deny and accept claims. Why not build friendship with people that are adjusters and offer them, say, hey man, for your information, I'm gonna let you rent my car at a discount. I need your knowledge. And they're gonna tell you what to say, how to say it, to get the claim paid. So if you knew you had an adjuster friend in your pocket that knows the game and can tell you how to walk through the process so that you're not getting got or incriminating yourself, then that also relieves the fear from you from renting on Turo, right? So that's basically what I started to do. I said, I'm not, because they don't promote me. I gotta promote me anyway, right? All they do is put my car on a platform where somebody can actually rent my car. And then the platform that is using this, think about it. People are renting these cars not because they want them, because they need them. I'm sorry, not because they need them, because they want them.
Right, on that platform, yeah.
So you only getting, your main rental is going to happen on the weekends. What happens to the weekdays?
Right.
They just sitting and looking at you. I need my car to be seen just waving by to me every day.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because the culture is Toro's like, well, if my car run out 20 days out of the month, I'm good. Right? I want mine out every day.
Man,
Or every week.
Yep.
So that's when that solution came from, right? I'm turning weekend rentals into weekly rentals. I'm turning short-term rentals into long-term rentals. Right? And that's the play. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that was spot on.
So one thing I want to kind of touch on, because I think that's super interesting, especially talking about Turo. One thing obviously Turo does is they have a already established kind of brand, right? Mm-hmm. So when people think about rental cars, it's kind of like, I don't know to what degree people think of Turo, but I assume it's like to some, it is a relatively newer company, but a lot of people think of them up there with the Enterprises, Hertz, those kinds of companies. So they have a portion of people's mind share, right? A portion of the consumer's mind shares with Turo. So they do have that kind of aspect. So with that comes like, that takes care of some of the marketing for some people that might want to put their cars on their platform. Now if you're offline, how do you market your cars for people to really see them as like someone's listening, they want to do that offline, or they want to be, like you said, become the platform. How can they market their platform or market their cars for someone to, already just a random person to see them?
Sure.
Can you kind of talk about the marketing
that's
aspect?
simple.
Yeah.
So for my business model, my niche is a rideshare niche, right?
Right.
And the cool thing about my niche is I don't need 20 or 10 or 12 renters for the month. I just need 1 driver to 3 drivers for the year.
That's huge
It's
right there.
a big difference, right? Because they're long-term drivers because they're using it for what?
Uber and Lyft.
So where they going?
Making money.
If they're making money, they can afford to pay for the rental because I now provide them a source, right? So that's one. But to get my drivers, all my drivers, my Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they're not online all the time because they're too busy working. So why am I going to spend all my money on online when I need to get offline? So what I do yard signs saying
That's
rent
smart.
a car to drive for Uber and Lyft. Text rent to my phone number. And then I put that places where Uber drivers will sit and wait for rides. So I tell my mentees, it's time you to do 2 things. Take an Uber ride and ask the drivers, hey man, where you guys hang out at and wait for rides at? Where's your hot spots? Or become an Uber driver and learn the game on that side. So that you pull up where the drivers are at and you let them know what you have to offer.
Right.
Right? So if you don't rent for Uber and Lyft if you don't rent Uber and Lyft, you can still take that same model and say rent a car, and I niche it out. If there's an event going on, I put that in, rent a car for the Super Bowl. Text the word super to this number, right? Because 9 times out of 10, these little yard signs are really effective.
Yep.
They actually call my phone. It's real. Hey man, is this rental thing real? You guys rent the cars out? Yes, I am. And we do our little spiel. So powerful because now I'm getting direct people because my ad says rent a car for Uber and Lyft drivers. So I'm not going to get anybody who's going to call unless they're Uber and Lyft drivers.
Right.
So people that actually was calling, drive for Uber and Lyft. Eureka. Right? So I'm literally tapping into my niche and I'm targeted marketing versus putting an ad out on Facebook, paying them to hopefully get in front of my niche.
Right.
Did that answer your question?
No, 100%.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm answering the question.
No,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that I can get over the tangent because it's passion.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
No, I love it because that makes perfect sense because, like I said earlier, you understand the pain points. For one, you've been an Uber driver. That makes a huge difference because now you understand that they're not going to be online for that reason. Like everything you say makes a lot of sense because you have the perspective of that person that you're targeting. I think that's like the key thing is that when you know your audience and when you've niched down to a certain point, you know exactly how to reach them because you have done like the research on figuring out what is their pain, what situation are they in, why are they going to want my product in the first place, and everything like that.
I don't want to cut your wisdom, but you said something that's powerful. The pain point.
Yeah.
People will move to relieve a pain versus moving to receive a gain.
That's fact.
They will move faster to relieve a pain than they would to receive a gain, right?
Yep.
And so in that point, you understand all the pain points, and you give them the pain points. Uber drivers want trunk space, they want cars that people can fit in, and they want the gas mileage to extend so they make the most money before they have to fill up. And if you know those and you offer that and let them know what these cars offer, they're taking it like gold because you already know what they want looking for.
I think there's also a science behind the conversation. Once they do call, there's like this is where you need to be trying to target those certain things. Like, what's that conversation looking like when you actually talking to them?
Oh yeah, it's simple. First thing I confirm and say, hey, all right, so do you drive for Uber and Lyft, or do you drive for Uber or Lyft? They say, oh, I drive for both. Okay, cool. How long you been with them? Oh, 3 years. Okay, how many rides have you done? Okay, cool. Give me a screenshot. The reason why I ask that because if you haven't really drove on the platform, you don't know how much money you really can make. So you don't know if you can afford my weekly rent or not. But if you've been driving for a minute, you know what kind of money you make.
Right.
So you know if you can afford it or not. Right? So that's the conversation. I say, listen, all my cars got leather seats, beautiful rim packages, trunk space, great on gas, and you already know its comfort level. So what I'm saying is, for Uber drivers, we get Uber X, Uber XL, Comfort. There's these different tier levels that you can make more money just by having that car.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get the car that qualifies for as many levels as that car can qualify for.
That is huge.
Because now I can say, look, this car is comfort. Oh, it's comfort? Oh, see, that's what I need that. Oh, it's XL? Now they know what that means as far as money wise.
Right. You learn the language of your audience at that point. That is huge. Because now if you get a certain car, like there's like you said, there's Uber X, XL, Comfort. Because we learned that ourselves by renting out to one guy. He was like, man, this Honda, this is a gold mine right here because I'm able to make I'm an Uber expert. I'm making bank with this one versus being just like the regular tier. Yep. And that's if you know those code words and everything like that. Now you can be calculated about how you talk to them, but also the type of car you go to get. Yeah. That way you can put the right product in front of them.
Bingo. And that's what my mentorship is designed for. That, right? To help people that don't know the Uber Lyft game understand it and know how to talk to us and how to get the car that we would desire and keep. I got a van. People think this 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan. That's a gold mine for Uber and Lyft drivers. People are like, yo, mama van. Yes.
Yes, mama.
Yes, the mama van. Yes. Matter of fact, yes.
Big birth.
Heck yes. Why? You can get an SUV, but why? People are cramming in an SUV. In a van, they get to stretch out, right? People don't understand the power of a caravan until they get in one.
Right.
The walls got room. Yeah. Wait a minute, right? Because their feet is on the ground, not up on the platform. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for that driver, if the customer loves the experience, they tip you more, right? So the driver needs something that's roomy, good on gas, trunk space, because that feeling will help the driver feel good about the experience, which give them the stars, the tips, and everything else. And then it also could be a private ride for them in the future. Do you do private rides? Because, man, I love this ride, man. This is beautiful. Yeah, I do private rides. Cool. So now you got a long-term customer because of the type of car you drive.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it's a beautiful concept because at the end of the day, once you understand that this van, now the van costs me as the renter cheaper than a Camry would cost, because the value to the marketplace says it's a mama van. No one really buys mama vans, so it's not going to be as a high note than it would on a Camry.
That is true. I've seen that. Yes, it's crazy.
Right, it's crazy, right? So because people don't buy mama vans for their own personal lives, the value of it is lower than a caravan which people want to buy. But to the Uber driver, it's way more valuable.
So they'll pay you more per week for that.
So I pay a less car note to make more profit because of the perceived value of the Uber and Lyft driver. So I'm capitalizing off the perceived value as a regular driver to make profit to an Uber driver who sees the perceived value of it much higher because of what it can do.
Yo, that is the power truly of niching down. Because you've targeted a niche that's going to value something that most people don't value. So if you have bought something that everybody values, you actually rent it out for less because you're trying to target a bigger market. Because you chose a niche down, you can charge more because people that particular niche values what you have more.
And not only that, even if I ran them both at the same price, the profit would be less on the more value car versus the less value car?
Because
the notes are higher, right? The notes are higher on the more value car because more people want the car.
Right.
So they can sell it for higher, which gives you a higher note.
Yep.
Versus sell it for cheap or sell it for low to get more profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful process.
Now, another big one. This is something that I'm always thinking about too, as just somebody in the rental car industry. The turnover when it comes to trade, like getting rid of cars, offloading the exit strategy for these different type of cars, because this is a great play for the passivity of it. But now these are people, like you said, the con is that they're driving these cars for business. They're probably going to put more use out of them, right? Mm-hmm. So now what does that strategy look like when it comes to the car getting a little bit older, is going through a little more wear and tear through driving for so long? Mm-hmm. Now what do you do then at that point?
Great question. So before you can even get there, you got to understand that we have a criteria that we follow when getting the car. Mm-hmm. Right, we don't get no late models, no old models. We get the latest model that's out with the body style, right? Because if that's the latest body style, we can go later year of that body style. So if it's a 2021 Toyota Camry, that body style is the same from 21 to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at the 18s, 19s there, because they're trying to get rid of those, some more of the 2021s, and I look at the lowest mileage that I can get in that year. Once I do that, I have a longer longevity of letting that car run up. Mm-hmm. Now, when it gets to 100,000 miles or so, I will go to a website called Algo Nation bar. All right?
Auto Nation?
Algo. Algo.
Oh,
Nation.
Algo. Okay.
Really? I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, Algo Nation.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And the cool thing about Algo Nation, shout out to my mentors, right? Shout out to my man Mitchie for the plug, right? Algo Nation, you put your VIN number, license plate, and the city that the car is in, and it will tell you how much the car they'll buy the car. If you like the price that they're gonna buy the car for, they will send a tow truck out with the check, collect the car.
Wow.
No inspection.
Really?
Yes. Okay. 1, 2. So by the time I hit, I have a real life situation. I had one car. It's my first car, RMR 001, Black Knight. All right. It's got 129,000 miles. Long story short, it sold for $6,700. I bought the car for $15,000. So I had like $2,000 equity in the car. Mm-hmm. Right? I might sell it, or I might let the car run out. There's two things that can happen. I can sell it, or I can if the car working well, I can keep running it because the profit's already there.
Right.
Right. So I can let it run its course and sell it to the driver at a low price.
I've heard that one before too, where the driver might end up just taking it at that point.
That's it. You know what? Give me $5,000 more and it's yours, and you can ride and have the car. Word. Now it's their car. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah. Did you want to?
No, I mean, I think there was a ton of value in that. I don't know. I know you wanted to, get a few questions specifically to the rental car industry before we kind of wrapped it up. Was that like the last one that you had?
Yeah, those are like a lot of the big things I think people have fear about when it comes to getting into the industry. Like we talked about the insurance, talked about what's it called? Shoot, I lost my train of thought on that. Talked about offloading, marketing. I think those are like three things that people really fear as far as getting into the business. Is there anything else that you always hear people say that they're like, man, I want to get into it, but I'm worried about this particular thing? What can you address for those people?
Yeah, their credit. Like you say, I ain't got the good credit right now to get into it. Let me tell you something. When I first started, I went to a buy here, pay here. Okay, you're either gonna have too much money and no time, or too much time and no money, right? In that case, I went to like I said, I had horrible credit when I started this process. I just knew I needed to start the process, right? But I had some money. So I said, okay, my credit's shot. Where can I go? Buy here, pay here, right? Or in-house financing is what they look for, right? And there's some that don't run your credit. They just see what kind of income you have. And if you got a job, easy. But if you don't have a job but you're making money, build a business account, bank account, and show your statements.
Yeah, like income and expenses from the business.
Yeah. That will help seal the deal, right? Don't fear about that. Or if you got bad credit, no money, ask around people who have cars but don't really drive them, if they want to make money with you. Mm-hmm. and you can take their car. You can take their car and you can rent it out to Uber and Lyft drivers on the platform. Especially people that are overseas, right? Anybody in the military, perfect, because they got the money to take care of the car notes, got the money to take care of the insurance. They're paying the note anyway.
Yeah.
And it's away. They're away. So it's not even like they even need the car. So those are military people are best to find out if they about to be deployed and they want their car sitting, they want to make money with their car. You'll be in the game just like that.
Right.
Nah,
In other words, there's plenty of ways to get in.
yeah, ain't got to just be the conventional way,
Right.
like cash or credit, or cash or good credit at that.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, I appreciate all that you share. Like now, you know, you mentioned earlier that you had like a program as well, like people could tap into.
Yeah, sure. We got the Rideshare Domination Program, where we show you how to become a rideshare dominator. Our goal is to show you how to, from A to Z, show you how to get the car, like what range you should get it in, how to offset it, how to market, how to get in front of the Uber drivers, everything, contract and all, right? And I'm gonna do a special discount for those who come through the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So we can get a podcast. Just you can DM me. Money Monopolizers at Jeff Trills. Let me know you saw the podcast, and we'll go ahead and show you some love on the course.
We'll have it in the show notes for sure. We're gonna have a direct link to it.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Hit the link in the show notes.
Yes, sir.
All right,
For sure.
We're looking to impact lives all across the globe, man. You know what I'm saying? Show you how to generate a passive income, leveraging. And the cool thing about this is that people do Airbnbs and they rent houses out, right? And some house that you could buy is $300,000 to buy a house to make $800 rent roll. We make anywhere from $700 to $1,000 profit off of each vehicle.
Wow.
And that's not including late fee that we charge the drivers. We charge them $100 late fee for every day that they're late.
Wow.
So it gets crazy real quick. We're sure you have to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll definitely tap into that. I might tap in my own stuff at this point. That's good stuff, man. So we usually wrap things up with every guest with like our last segment called the Fast Five. So it's where we ask each guest 5 questions and you answer each one in 10 seconds or less.
Welcome to the Fast Five.
So we'll just alternate back and forth and let's get started.
So I'm gonna take the first one and we'll alternate. So first question: what does success mean to you?
Success means leverage.
Success.
Is it a one-word answer?
No, you can just
Okay, so it's leverage, meaning delegation, leveraging other people's talents and skill sets to make your project become a success.
Right.
This is leverage. It's really balance too as well.
Yeah.
Because when you master balance, then you can do tricks. You take up a bike. If you master balance on the bike, then you do wheelies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So balance is the real true success.
Leverage and balance, yes, sir. Question number 2: what is your favorite money or business book?
Ooh, yeah. Favorite money or business book? I mean, I'm a Grant Cardone too. The 10X Rule.
Facts.
10X Rule is it blew my, the audio book.
Oh, I love that.
Let's go. Let's get spicy. 10X Rule audio.
Is it him reading it?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh,
Yes, it's him.
that's powerful.
It's him.
Yeah, I already know.
And he's giving extra sauce on the audio book.
Wow.
10X Rule book.
The 33 rules he had in there.
Woo-wee.
Fire.
And he went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my book.
I got FOMO now. I need to go.
10X Rule audio book.
Commit
sir.
now, figure out the rest later.
You dig? Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Yes, sir.
But, third question: would you rather have $1,000 a week for life or $1 million today, and why?
$1,000 a week for life. I like $1,000 a week of life because I can spread it out, right? I can mess up and figure it out. I can take that money, blow it, figure it out. I can take that money and invest in multiple things to figure it out in my niche. With that $1 million, it ain't growing, it ain't moving, it ain't shaking. It's dead. So I can really, really play around, and then know that another one's coming every day.
Yes, sir.
For life, right? That's what you call residual income.
Yep.
If I can have residual income, which is $1,000 a day, generating every day for life, that's residual income, what we all strive for anyway. Passively. Okay.
That's a fact. All right, question number 4. If you could go back and change anything about your journey, what would it be?
Make these mistakes much faster. Bump my head really fast.
Feel fast.
I mean expeditiously. Right? because everything that happened needed to happen for me to become the person I am today.
That's a fact.
But if it happened faster, I won't be 41 with this experience. I'll be 23 with this experience.
Right.
Man.
Right? And then it'd be fun.
Yeah. So that's for all the young people listening.
That's a fact,
Yo,
man.
take action. Get started. Fail now. You're going to fail anyway at some point, so you might as well get it out the way now.
And failure is actually the blessing.
Right.
Matter of fact, people think that in your youth you're supposed to party now and work forever. But your youth was designed for you to work hard now and party forever.
I'd much rather do that.
Your choice.
Yeah. So last question. Where can people find out more about you?
All right. Good question now. That's the $1 million question. All right. Y'all can tap in with me at Jeff Trills on Instagram, at Jeff Trills. DM me, follow me, and you'll find everything that I do on my Instagram. On the website, jefftrills.com. But just go to Jeff Trills at Instagram. Instagram at Jeff Trills on Instagram. You'll tap into my whole world.
Yes, sir.
There y'all have it. Man, this has been a treat. We appreciate you coming on the show, bro.
This is great. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Money Monopolizers. Let's get it. I love it.
Yes, sir.
A ton of value in this episode, man. Y'all better tap in with Jeff. So much. No excuses, man, if you're trying to get started in the rental car industry. So, man, but that is it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday. Will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we'd appreciate it if you rated us 5 stars and left us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also find out more info about us at moneymonopolizers.com or on IG at Money Monopolizers. We post informative content on there that keep you engaged, so be sure to check that out and share those posts. But until then, we are out of here.
Peace.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.